Hello, and thank you so very much for setting up your Mission Suite account. I am really excited to have you on board. And now you're going to start getting a series of videos, of quick video tutorials, 5-10 minute tutorials to walk you through how to use the different features that come standard inside of your Mission Suite account. Inside of this video, however, I just wanted to kind of give you a general overview. Give you a quick look at what you just signed on with, and so you can get a feel for it and know where to find certain things. Things like the help information, things like how to reach out to us and get more information that you need, things like that, right? So with that, I'll say we'll jump in here. So by default, your Mission Suite account is going to come standard with 3 different groups. You can see up here in this top left-hand corner your groups drop down. So first of all, you've got your leads group, which is basically, obviously, anybody that you want to drop in there who is a lead or a prospect or what have you. You've got your networking follow-up group and your referral bench group. So the networking follow-up group is where you add contacts who you just met networking. Your referral bench group is where you add contacts that you want to continually keep in touch with. So all of these things come standard. You can always create new groups. You can always create new custom fields. There's all different things that you can do, and we'll kind of walk through some of that information now. So first things first, what I want to show you is the Guide Me tool here. So in the top right corner of your screen, you'll see your Guide Me button. So you can click on that, and it's going to open up this Guide Me box, and this is going to be a walkthrough. And so let's say I want to add a new group. Let's say I want to create a group for clients. So I'm going to type in here in the top bar, create a group, and here we go. So I'm going to click on create a group. What this is going to do is it's going to show you step by step exactly what you need to do. So hover over settings, click on group. This is going to take you to your group settings. It's going to tell you to hover over actions. So you can see as a step-by-step process, this is going to walk you through kind of some of the more in-depth and more kind of step-by-step things that you need to know for your Mission Suite account. So this Guide Me tool is hugely helpful. So use it often and make sure that you check it out whenever you have questions. Typically I like to make that my first step when I'm looking through things. The next thing you're going to see as far as help information is concerned, you'll see that there are these little blue question mark bubbles throughout the system, and you're going to run into these all over the place. What's nice about these is that there's actually some pretty good information. So you can hover over this, I can click on this, and I can keep it open and then scroll through this here. Some of these even have video tutorials built into them, so I can click on that and then it'll actually walk me through and tell me more about what these features that I have that I'm working with are actually doing. Right? So there's a lot of information in there. You can see that there's a lot of detail that will help you to use your Mission Suite account more effectively. Right? And then we'll talk a little bit more about the full help section here towards the end of this video, because that's also going to include how to reach out to us and whatnot. And I promise we'll get to there in a minute. So your contacts are all going to be in your contact list first and foremost, right? So I'm going to click here to my contacts, and then this is going to be where my contacts live. So again, this is a group by group system. So my leads group here, as you can see, is empty. But if I go to my networking follow-up group, then there are a couple contacts here inside of this system. Right? And so when I'm in my contact list, I can come over here, I can click on edit, and this is going to pull up the overall contact record for this contact. So Sally Seidelman here, she is with ABC Corp. I can add in company specific information. I can add information about ABC Corp here, and then I can add information for Sally here. Right? So for example, you can see there are 2 addresses, 2 cities, 2 states, etc. So this one is all about the company. This one is all about the contact. Right? Then of course I've got the phone number for her. I've got the mobile number for her. I can use all this information here. I can create tags. I can do all these different things inside of the system. When I'm ready to, I can click on save. That's gonna lock down that information, make sure that it's in there. If you've reached out to us and asked us to turn on contact research, we can set that up in here as well. And of course, I can also send a personal email to this contact from here as well. Simple things that will allow me to manage my contact and the contact details. Now, assuming that I want to actually go in and manage this from a sales perspective, I can come over here to my CRM activities, and I can see all of the information. This is where I can create an activity history. I can create tasks to follow up with in the future. So let's say I had a meeting with Sally here, and it was I had a meeting on Tuesday, and it was at 9 a.m. and so it was in here. So that was when it was completed. Great meeting. I can add in whatever notes I want to, and then save my activity here. And then when I go back down this list, I can see that there was a meeting that was had with Sally here. So it can be really helpful to create a kind of an historical record of what you're doing with these contacts. If you need to create a task for the future, you're going to come over here, click activity, and let's say make a phone call. It's going to be due on Tuesday at 9 a.m. and I'm going to have it send me an email reminder before that activity is due, and then I'll tell them, follow up from meeting. And then I'm going to click on save. And now this is going to show up as an open task. You can see it's green here, so it's due sometime inside of the next 7 days, which is kind of what that legend means. And then if I get it done, then I can come over here and mark it as completed. I'm going to keep it open for now because what I want to show you is where this lives inside of where else this lives inside of the dashboard and how you can get to this. So again, from the sales perspective, this is where you're going to create any opportunities in this as well. So you've got all this information. You can create all of this. You can store files, so PDFs, Word documents, things like that. We do have the ability to do document signing in here. We can create invoices and send invoices, take payment through here. All of that information is available on the how-to information is available inside of the help and the guide me tools. So definitely, if you're interested in using those, definitely take advantage of that. So now I'm going to come back over to my dashboard, and so you see here that Sally has a meeting that we can see some of her history here. Now I'm going to come back over to my dashboard, and because I scheduled that activity with Sally for Tuesday, you can see that it's in my to-do list now. So I have one activity that's coming up in the next 7 days, and that's my phone call with Sally, and it's telling me to follow up from the meeting. So now the nice thing here is that I can actually click on that activity record inside of the to-do list, and it's going to open up directly to that activity inside of the contact, inside of Sally's contact here. So it's going to allow me to edit this, or I can come over here and I can mark it as completed really quickly and easily. And then, of course, all of the contact information is in here as well. So it's a really simple tool. It's a really simple way to just kind of get in, manage that contact, manage your sales activities and whatnot. So a couple key important things, especially if you're using this from a sales perspective or a marketing perspective. You can see that history and create more for the future. Some of the other quick things that I'll show you here. Again, we can import contacts using a spreadsheet, and there's going to be another video here. The next video in this series will show you how to import that. We can also create as many custom fields as we want to. So you can come over here. You can add a new custom field. You can make it. We have all different types of field types that you may want to do. Again, all that information is really well spelled out inside of the help bubble here, and again in that show me how tool, that guide me tool that we've got. And then, of course, you can do you've got all your reporting, any reporting for contact information, for activity history, coming activities, opportunities, etc. is all going to be in here. So there's a lot of power, a lot of sales and kind of demographic and marketing power inside of this as well. Our communicate features, and again, we try to keep this relatively well laid out, make sure that everything is kind of organized correctly. We have two different email builders in here. We have the Easy Builder, which is kind of a standalone email newsletter template. Right? So that means that this is the system, this is the area of the system rather, that you're able to go in and create your emails and develop a new email template just through drag and drop, right? So you can grab onto these different sections here, move them to where you need them to be. You can add different sections into this. You can come back to your settings and manage the settings of the system of the email itself. So maybe give it a nice red background and make the text, maybe just make it a little bit lighter so it's not so harsh. Those types of things are all available to you, and you can navigate that. You can create this. The nice thing about this being a standalone feature is that it won't send live emails unless you actually export it to the media library to send it. So what that means is that you can go through, halfway build an email template and not run the risk of actually going through and accidentally sending it to 500 people, which I've done before. It's not fun. So when you're ready to, and of course, most of what you're going to see is going to be up in the actions tray. So you can click on, you can open your templates here, you can save your template, and then when you're ready to send it, you can come over here to the export to media library and send page, and that's going to allow you to do that. What it'll allow you to do is it'll save that to the media library, which is where things go to be kind of in production, and it's going to take you to this build and send email page. And this is where you can also, and so now you can send an email that you've created in the Easy Builder, or you can come straight here and open up an email in here. You can just come up here and create a new email. You can create something from scratch. You can work with our template library in here. So there's all different sorts of things that you can do inside of this. But this is also where you can send a final test to yourself or to whomever needs to see a final test, and then ultimately send that email and schedule that email out to your database, to the filtered part of your database that you want to send it out. You can send it out to your entire list, part of your list, what have you. So that's kind of our primary communication tools. You can see we've also have tracking capabilities here. We do have SMS, MMS, and voice capabilities. We have survey capabilities. There's all sorts of things in here that are going to be helpful for you. And so again, because this is just a general overview, I'm not going to dive too deep into automation. Suffice it to say that we can create campaigns that are based on this, and so you'll see a little bit more about how these campaigns work in a future video in this series here. but this is where your networking follow-up campaigns are going to live. This is where your referral bench campaigns are going to live, and whatnot. And then we have a number of different automation tools in here that again you can kind of dive into a little bit, get to know through some of the help information, or of course reach out to us and we do scheduled training sessions, things like that. Our calendar, this is a question that we get a lot. Our calendar is actually an event management platform. So this will allow you to actually click on a day and then create an event that people can actually register for, sign up for. You can make it a public event, a private. You can keep it as a private event. You can give it your own event settings, right? There's a lot of power inside of this if you manage any sort of events. So if you wanted, let's say, if you wanted to do a networking dinner or a happy hour or a breakfast or whatever. Maybe it's a seminar, maybe it's something special, I don't know. But this is what you can do this here, manage all of your registrations through this, and the nice thing is that all the people that register through Mission Suite will automatically be added into your Mission Suite account. So that makes it really nice because you don't have to do double entry, you don't have to worry about importing because they're already in there. Our apps section here, this is where this is kind of more of a 2.0 kind of a phase, so you're not going to do too much in here. Suffice it to say that we do have the ability to create forums, we can do learning, we can handle project management, we can do support ticketing, and we can create wikis for wiki style knowledge bases for your team as well. So there's a lot of power to that too. Now under website, this is where all of our website tools live. So here you can actually create a microsite. You can build out a website. I never recommend creating an entire main brand website inside of a third-party system. But if you have a campaign-specific microsite, it's a perfect place to create it. You can come over here to your manage pages and actually build out and do a full design. You can create pages inside of that design, the whole 9 yards. But more importantly for this, what we're going to be looking at are these sign-up forms. So this is where you can actually create a sign-up form to add people to, let's say, your mailing list. Or maybe you will just maybe you want to create a sign up form to drop in as the contact form on your website. You can do that all in here using this build new form tool. And again, I recommend using this show me how to walk you through how to do it, especially for the first couple of times. But let's say you're going to create a new form, and this is going to be a test form, and it's going to open up. It's going to create itself. It's loading the form editor here, and then I can do things like I can create a specific customize an action button, right? So submit or join now or send me my white paper, whatever you're doing here. And then we've got an easy builder for the form itself. Again, very similar to our email easy builder. And then you'll see the options, and this is where the power of our forms come into play, because we can do things like decide based on what your the type of form that you want to create. Is it a standard double opt-in form? Is it just a one, is it just as a contact form that you just want to add in there, right? Those types of things can be, this is where all of those kind of features can be decided. And then of course we can, once somebody confirms their information with you or fills out those single opt-in forms, we can have things that automatically happen after that as well. So again, a lot of power to this. Definitely, if you're going to be using these, utilize these little help bubbles here to make sure you know what each of these pieces mean. And if you have questions, reach out using, and I'll show you how to reach out to us directly. Finally, our media library. We can come over to our media library here, and this is where all of our email templates are stored. This is where any images that we add into emails are stored. This is where you can store documents. You can store specific documents that maybe you want to give people access to, or white papers that you want people to download. You can store them in here. Now your account comes standard with 100 meg of storage space, right? And so as long as you keep your as long as you keep your files optimized, which means no massive JPEGs, no big PDFs, make sure that everything is as big as it needs to be, but no bigger than that. Then 100 meg can actually last you quite a bit of time using a system like this. Again, we're not Dropbox, we're not Google Drive, right? You can go over that 100 meg limit, but if you do go over that 100 meg limit, then you're charged 20 cents per megabyte after that. So be aware of that, kind of just be cognizant of it, so that as you add things in here, if it's a big file, maybe you use a Dropbox link in your email, maybe you use a Google Drive link in your email or on your website to manage that download, as opposed to dropping it in a mission suite. Right? We can make all of that work. You can link to things intermittently, whatever the case might be. But all of that is there. So that's kind of your overview of your Mission Suite account. Now, I've shown you the guide me information, I've shown you the help bubble information, and here's the coup de grace. We've got this big help section here, and we've got a lot of information in this. So you can see that there's a lot of written help in here. There's information about things like opportunities, there's best practices, there's information about a learning management system, and then there's simple stuff like contacts and CRM, email, the SMS and voice and whatnot, right? All of that information, there's plenty of help information. This is searchable. You can do a search for keywords or an exact match, and do that kind of a search. As you kind of go through this, if there are things that are more specific to your account that you have problems with, or things that you find that may seem a little glitchy, or maybe they don't feel like it doesn't feel like they're working right, or maybe you just need more help and more specific, more focused help than is available here, you can fill out this support request form. And that's going to be the best way to get a hold of us, because that's going to get us an email. It's going to alert our phones, and then it'll actually it'll allow us to follow up with you more effectively. You can click on the support request form and then fill this out. It's going to ask you some basic questions, describe the issue, be as descriptive as possible, and then you can you obviously fill out the form and then click on submit, and you're good to go. And that's gonna like I said, that's gonna send us information to get all of that. If you do want to do personalized training, we offer scheduled training sessions on Mondays, on Monday afternoon and Tuesday midday Mountain Time. So you can always click here as well, and that's going to take you to our training calendar, and then you can choose a day and time that's going to work well for you. So that is the quick overview of your Mission Suite account. Again, thank you so much for joining us here. I'm really excited to have you on board. And if you have any questions, definitely let us know, and we will look forward to talking to you again soon. All right, cheers.